Hi, it's Connie again, still in Bodhanath, Nepal. Today I want to talk a little bit about verbs. So in Tibetan, the unique thing about verbs is that verbs always come at the end of a sentence in Tibetan. So when we think about English, English usually follows a subject-verb-object structure. So if we take the sentence, I am a teacher, I is the subject, am is the verb, teacher is the object. Tibetan, on the other hand, follows a subject-object-verb structure. So in Tibetan, we'd say nga gegen yin, I, teacher, am, basically. So far, we've learned that words and particles can be omitted from a sentence if it can be inferred from the context in a Tibetan sentence. But it's really important to keep in mind that verbs are never, ever omitted from sentences. In addition to the study of particles, the study of verbs is the other major component of Tibetan grammar. So if you can master particles and master the way that verbs are used, you'll have a really easy time with deconstructing Tibetan sentences, translating Tibetan, and just generally understanding how Tibetan functions. Now, what's important to know about verbs just in the beginning is that verbs don't change with respect to person or number in Tibetan. So in English, like we say I eat, but we say he eats. In Tibetan, that's all the same. Nga za, kong za. Za is always the same no matter whether you're talking about person or singular or plural, it's all the same. But the way that verbs do change is with respect to tense. So in Tibetan we have 4 possible ways that verbs can be formed, depending on whether they are in the present tense, the past tense, the future tense, or the imperative. Now this gets a little bit complicated, so we're going to go through this slowly in the next few lessons. But again, I just want to introduce this to you now so you know what we're about to get into. So as we move through the next few lessons, what we're going to talk about are 4 major types of verbs in Tibetan. So we have linking verbs or copular verbs. These are like the verb to be in English. We have existential verbs, which are like to exist. Then we have transitive verbs. These are verbs that take an object, act on a direct object. So in the case of I eat an apple, for example, eating there is a transitive verb because it takes an object, apple. This is contrasted with the 4th type of verb in Tibetan, intransitive verbs. These are verbs that don't act upon an object. So an example of an intransitive verb would be in the sentence, the sun rises. The sun isn't rising something else, it's just rising. So those are the 4 types of verbs. Remember that they don't change with respect to person or number, but they can change with respect to tense. And don't be intimidated by this. We're going to go through everything slowly, so it won't be as hard as it sounds.